Jacob, how did you find carnivore?
So how I found carnivore was uh I was in eighth grade and I was a 5'1", 140 pound kid. I was severely overweight, and then my parents have been trying to get me to do something about my weight for years and years. I would say maybe since the start of fifth or sixth grade. And I just couldn't do anything because I'm a picky eater. And so my mom eventually was like, "This is enough. You have to go on this diet." And so I did. It was a drastic change. I was like, can I at least have whatever's left before I can transition to the diet? That answer was a no. We had like breaded chicken tenders left, and I was gonna eat them, but then yeah, my mom just said no, and then we just had them for a while until we threw them out. For like a long while, we had them for months, and eventually I started losing weight, and things just started getting better. I actually missed out on puberty because I wasn't eating right. So what happened was, like, everyone else was hitting puberty except for me, and I was pretty short. That's one of the main things I like about puberty. I'm just so tall now. But yeah, after a long enough time on being on carnivore, I eventually did hit puberty. I grew to 5'7". I dropped to 120 pounds, which was my goal weight. And growing 6 inches and losing 20 pounds is crazy work. That's all I have to say. And then now I like to say I'm 5'10". I'm chilling at a nice 125 and been doing cross country and track for, I did cross country for 4 years, track for three. I'm going to hopefully get a sub 5 mile in this track season, and life's going good.
So how old are you now?
17.
17. Um, and when you started eating this way, did it change anything about, for example, the way you were studying or the way you interacted with people at school, things like that?
I mean, I started talking with friends a lot better, and then I actually was able to like talk with people. I used to. I'm not very social right now as it is. That's just kind of how I am. But I just didn't understand most social cues or any at all back when I was eating this unhealthy diet. You can't even call it a diet. It's just eat all the processed stuff.
It sounds quite similar to what mine used to be like, strictly 100% ultra processed.
I will say we cut down a lot on fruit after, and we're still down a lot on fruit. Like the only fruit I eat is watermelon. I ate an apple. One apple was Friday. I had an apple on Friday because we were out of town. We were getting breakfast, and not yesterday, but like last Friday. I got 15 slices of bacon in an apple.
So, would you describe your diet as carnivore, keto, low carb?
Mm, I would describe mine as more. I would say between keto and low carb. Like my diet mainly tries to stay away from the processed stuff. There's just one thing I can't let go of, and it's diet soda.
As far as, keeping the momentum going or keeping your weight stable and stuff, that hasn't affected you negatively in any way, right?
Um, what, taking the diet sodas?
Yeah.
So the thing with the diet sodas is I used to drink them a lot, even through the diet. I was having them eighth grade back in my old high school. We had working vending machines. My school here doesn't. And ninth and tenth grade, I dropped a little bit too much money on diet sodas. I would get like two a day. It went from 125 to like $2, two and a half sometimes. And I didn't have any self control with the diet sodas. I also didn't think there was anything wrong with them until my mom found an article about aspartame, which is in all diet sodas, and apparently aspartame does some pretty bad things to you. So she severely limited my diet sodas after that. And by then, I had already moved out of the high school into one that doesn't have working vending machines. But yeah, so now I just don't drink a lot of diet soda. I had one today. It was a Diet Dr. Pepper. It was quite nice.
Right. So, when you say doesn't have working vending machines, is that because 'cause they've got a policy against vending machines or because the vending machines are always broken?
Um, so we technically do have one working vending machine, but it's not sodas, it's snacks. The one soda vending machine we just have chilling in the high school. I don't think it's plugged in. It's like over 10 years old. And then there's something else. I heard about there is actually a policy about like students can't have sodas in the school building. I'm not 100% sure if this is true. This is just something I overheard from cross country mates, and they said that other schools bypass it by putting them in the gyms.
It seems like a pretty bad place to put vending machines in the gyms, like, you go to the gym to get fit and then you polish it off with a soda.
Listen, it is well. Also, the vending machines are required by law that sell. They can't sell regular sodas. So like it, so like you can't have any sugar in the product, or else you're just banned. I'm not sure about any, but like regular sodas are like 500% of your daily sugar intake a day. They're really bad. Dude, I remember I had a regular Coca Cola in stats class once, like because they just had it left over from some party. So I poured myself a cup because my teacher has a bunch of red cups. I had it, and it was like the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. Ever. Regular sodas are. How do people drink those?
Hmm. It's pretty bad, yeah. I remember when I was 15 years old, I had a, part-time job at McDonald's, and they actually mix their Coca-Cola on site, right? So, like, there's a big bag of syrup, you connect it to a machine, and it mixes it with soda water in the right amount, and then that's how the Coke comes out the fountain at the front. And I got some of that syrup when I was connecting it on my finger, and I licked it off my finger, and it was this is concentrated Coca-Cola, right? And
Makes
it
you want
was
to jump
just
out the
made me
chair.
crazy. Yeah.
Something about that. There's a trend, or at least there was a trend going on social media, where if you took a cup, I have a teacup right here. I guess I can use as an example, except not really. Actually, better cup. This thing, like, okay, yeah, I had to figure out which way to move for the camera. So basically, what you do, like, the stream will like fall down, and it's actually two different streams. It's the syrup and carbonated water. So a trend that people started to do was they would move their cup over to the side to only get the concentrated bit.
It's awful, and to think what that's doing to us, it's just, um so, how since you've been eating this way, how has your energy changed? Like, you're doing cross country and things like that. Like, do you feel more like you wanna move?
Yes. Um, I remember back before I started the diet, I just had no energy whatsoever. I remember I ran a mile for Boy Scouts, some Boy Scouts requirement where I had to like do some fitness thing to improve over a set amount of time. It was a few weeks. And I remember I got, what was it? It was over 12 minutes long for a mile, which is absurd. If I ever did that as a mile, I would lock myself away in my room for quite a while because I can now get sub 6 mile. My fastest is 5:25. The When I got my 5:25 mile, it was so sad. Not because of the 5:25 mile race, but because I got sick immediately after, and then I never recovered for that season. Some nasty virus that I don't know what it was, but now I can move a lot, and now I actually am running off a little bit too little sleep right now. Consistently throughout the week, I've gotten 4 to 5 hours, which I should be getting like 7. And then today I had 8. You recover all your sleep. Like if you are asleep for too long, you can get you can fully recover from one night of 12 to 14 hours. But I didn't get that, so I'm still running.
Yeah. So what's causing that reduced sleep that you've been experiencing recently?
The fact that I don't want to sleep. It's that's actually just as simple as it sounds. I just don't want to sleep.
So is that like you're drinking more caffeine than you normally would or something, or gaming or something like that?
It's scamming.
On a normal day, what does your diet look like? How often are you eating and what is it made up of?
Normal diet. Morning, I eat a pound of bread. I eat a pound of breakfast because it's a pound of bacon. We'll say that. At lunch, my mom makes. I eat a PB&J, but it's weird. Jif has this low sugar, no added sugar option, which is less sugar. We buy Good jam, which has no added sugar either. Still pretty sweet because it's fruit, but and then my mom makes the bread and it's made out of egg whites, so instead of carbs and sugar and wheat, it's a lot more protein. So it's way more beneficial than it harms. And for dinner, I'll have 2 to 3 pounds of chicken. Sometimes I'll eat four. That's really only after a really big race or a really long run because I need to get all that energy back. I unfortunately don't eat any beef. My parents keep trying to make me, but this problem still consists that I am a picky eater, and it's just terrible. I really wish I could like it, but I don't. And there's other stuff that I eat that I feel like should be noted. Sometimes I'll have watermelon. It's like a once every week or two sort of occurrence. There's this granola that I like, which it's not anything bad either. It's just extra sugar. It's just not too much extra sugar to like throw me off the diet, but like strict like people who are strict on the diet wouldn't eat it, and then I mix it up with peanut butter and it's really good. And then there's also mixed nuts. I eat a lot of mixed nuts, way more than I should, and that's what I eat.
Right. Do you notice when you have, say, the bacon, um, as opposed to the granola and the peanut butter, do you notice any differences after you've eaten those things? Like, do you notice a change in energy or alertness or anything like that?
Not energy or alertness per se, but which is it? Because when I eat bacon in the mornings, I don't feel that way. And it's usually only after like drinking one of these. Except especially if it's a blue one. The blue ones for some reason mess up my mom and they may mess up me. But then it's not the bacon in doing that. So but then the granola and peanut butter will sometimes upset my stomach. And not exactly sure why. Maybe because of the diet, but it's nothing too bad. It's just like an hour or two of just it being slightly upset.
Have you had any feedback about this from friends at school? Like, do they notice that you don't eat necessarily the same way that everyone else is eating, or the same amount of junk food that people are eating, and do they question it?
Um, Not a lot of people notice. I only ever bring lunch to school. I don't usually eat any snacks. There is one exception to like when I just completely go off the diet. And that's the race days. So like race days, my coach would have out some snacks, which include like granola bars. We had graham crackers once, and then they bring bottles of Prime, Powerade, Gatorade, and a lot of other stuff. And like I'll have a few of those for the race. Should I? No, but and then after I get like I can have one meal at a fast food restaurant, or sometimes cross ties, which is a thing in our area. It's not like a big thing, it's like a local business. And I get chicken and waffles there. I get to be pretty lenient because I'm doing cross country and track and don't have really any physical problems.
And you don't seem to have, like, I know myself when I was around your age, like, if I was talking about any kind of junk food, I'd be, like, thinking, "Oh, what am I gonna eat next?" You don't strike me as, like, you don't seem to have a much of an addictive, component when it comes to food. Would that be right?
This is a weird question to answer. It's only yes after you eat said food. I remember I watched this one guy, his name's Think Before You Sleep. He's got like 3 million subs on YouTube. He's kind of cool. Um, he does a bit more of a fitness thing, and he's not keto or carnivore. But what he one thing in a video one thing in one of his videos he said stuck out to me. He said that after he eats fast food, like he will not think about anything else except eating more food for the next 5 hours. And I can feel like this is true. If you eat really bad food, for some reason, it's so addictive that even in the moment, if you're not a person who has any addictions, then you're just gonna want more and more and more. And this can be applied for people with addiction or without addiction.
Yeah, yeah, it would be, I guess this was the problem with my diet before, being 100% ultra processed, so everything everything stirred that addiction in me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's why people who aren't focused on any diet and put in those terms just tend to eat more and more and more than everyone else. It's because it's all they can think about is food, and that's not like an insult, but that's literally what is true. Like your mind is like, what am I going to eat next? What am I going to eat next? I wouldn't even say it's a taste thing. If it's a taste thing, you can enjoy like a cookie or a donut and not have the need to have another. It's not. I don't think it's the sugar that does that. It might be the sugar. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a bunch of processed stuff in there that makes you want it.
Yeah, they found the perfect combination of things to put together to really kind of affect your body in that addictive way, right?
Some interesting note. It's just a nice little fun fact. There's only two people in the entire world who know the Coca-Cola recipe and the formula, and they're banned from being on the same flight.
Really? They take it that seriously?
Yeah, they take it that seriously because if they're both on the same flight and that flight has the really, really rare chance of crashing, because planes are actually super safe compared to cars, they just lose the recipe. There's only two people in the world who know the recipe,
So,
and
like, this is not written down anywhere or anything like that?
I don't think so.
See, you'd think Coca-Cola would be like, "This is costing us a fortune in flights. We should just, like, write this down and put it in a safe."
Not really. You just got to make sure that the two never fly together.
So I guess this is a little bit like, I wonder if KFC is the same with their 11 secret herbs and spices. I wonder if they have, something like there's 11 people in the company and everyone knows one of the secret herbs.
If they, dude, if they did that, I would call them out for being so smart, but then still having like the worst chicken in the world. It's a thing. Like people just don't like KFC chicken. It was like KFC was good at one point, and then someone went in, changed the formula, and then it just went. It's just not good chicken anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a chicken fan, so I've never really experienced any change with it because I've hardly ever had KFC.
I'm like the number one chicken fan ever. I brought up I eat fast food after a race. It's literally only fried chicken and fries and a dessert if my parents aren't around. Shh, don't tell.
So, what are your plans around, are you in the final year of high school now?
Yes, I am.
Right. So what are your plans going forward? Are you, gonna go off to college or
I'm still heavily thinking about it. I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life, and I still don't. Although I have an idea, it's working in IT because it's not really a place where you need to be social, but you have to be smart. And you have to be able to think critically, and I can do all three of those things pretty well.
Yeah, as someone with an IT background, yeah, IT is pretty good. It's fun.
I just need to figure out what I want to do in IT.
Yeah, yeah. Just avoid help desk.
But avoid help desk. That
Because
is the best advice you can give anyone.
then you're always telling people, like, 99% of your day is just saying, "Turn it off and put it back on again." It's
Is it actually?
well, that solves 90% of the problem, so usually, yeah. Going forward, do you think you're going to maintain this kind of diet? You'll get stricter, it'll get, you know, less strict? How do you think it'll go?
It will probably get less strict unless I end up facing some problems down the road. It depends on whether I keep running or not. If I keep running, I'll probably be able to stay looser, and there is a little bit of joy and freedom in having said freedom. But then it's like you just gotta not abuse it. Like we said, if you eat a processed item, you are going to not think about anything else but food for the next several hours. So then I would say it's probably going to get looser, but I'm going to try my best to maintain it if I don't completely derail.
So, if you had a friend that was interested in getting started with a diet where they're lowering their carbohydrate consumption, how would you recommend they get started?
Jump into it. No baby steps.
So Jacob, do you have any way of reaching out if people want to get in contact? Do you have any social media or anything like that?
Um, I do not have any social media. My parents don't like me having social media. Uh, there's really only two things I have, which don't really correlate to me IRL at all. I have a Discord, and then not like a. I mean, I guess I do have a Discord server, but it's for gaming really. And then I have my own YouTube channel, which I post gaming videos on. I'm working on one now, but I don't really publicize it. I haven't uploaded anything in 3 months.
Yeah. So what kind of gaming do you do? Have you got a
It's,
particular one you like?
it's either Minecraft or there's two games on Roblox. I know Roblox sounds like a childish game. There's one really grindy game called Bee Swarm Simulator, and there's one really niche game which gets like right now it's peaking at only 200 concurrent players, but it's Data Brawl.
So I still do some gaming, but I'm stuck in 1995. I'm still playing Doom.
I mean,
So
that's fine. Listen, as long as you don't play League of Legends, we're cool.
okay, well, I've never played it, so I'm not sure what the thing is with it, but yeah, I can confidently say I've never played it. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me here.